It should be all good. So, I just wanted to completely clear my thoughts before I even got on here and spoke about whatever I guess I won't, my mind wants to come up with. Um, like me a little instance, just for clarity, more energy, more clarity, more focus. Get that going. There's some dragon blood right here, by the way. Get that going real quick. This is a sober. It's more of a sober talk here. Sometimes I do like to be above the weather when I'm doing this. It just offers more, allows you to be in your body a bit more. But I think I did a good job at kind of clearing my energy this morning and getting grounded and taking a step back before I got this going. But getting messages to get on here and just speak my mind, speak, I guess, the insight and the wisdom that I do have being on this planet for 28 years so far. Which, still young, and you're always gonna be young in the eyes of God, but I'm still young even in terms of being on this planet. However, I do feel like when it comes to the spiritual realm and the spiritual world and the unseen world and dealing with the thoughts in the mind, that it's something that I was just thinking about that actually as I was doing my chakra meditation. Is what was coming in my head was back when I was in 8th grade, and that was my first time actually smoking weed when I was in the 8th grade, and that was like my first real like awakening basically. I just kind of started to question things, I guess, the religion that I was being brought up into at the time. I just started to question things. I was out in the woods that we used to like to go and leave out to school in the middle of class, and we used to literally go, it'd be the change, how you change classes, and you got to walk the hallways. Yeah, it'd be like a group of us, 3, 4 of us, and we would basically like come down the stairs, jump over the stairs, and run out the door, and like just leave school, and we would go. To keep in mind we like 13, 14 years old, and we'd go to this park called Balduck Park, and we would go there and we would go get some weed from a local weed man, and we would smoke and just have a good time basically. Which I don't recommend that, by the way, by anybody that is under the age of, I would even say 25. But obviously once you're 18 you can do whatever you want, but I would highly encourage you not to do that until you are at least 25, since that is when your brain is fully developed, and you just don't want to put any substances in your body that can potentially mess with your development. So I do not encourage or recommend anybody, under the ages of 25 to engage in any psychedelic, any mind altering drug, or any alcohol or anything like that. Just keep it clean. You're going to have your time to do all of those things once you at 25 years old. So that is my message to that. However, I'm just speaking about how my life went. So I got some tea here, some hibiscus tea. Good for the heart, You good. You need some good herbs in your life. Good herbs that help clean out your system. Help keep your body strong, because your body actually fights off the herbs. So I say herbs or herbs? I like to say herbs for some reason. They just sound more sophisticated. Just help your body. Your body likes to fight off the herbs that you put in your body, and it just helps keep your body in a stronger state. I'm not a scientist with all this stuff, but I just kind of understand it from the things that I done seen. However, that's a lot of yapping at the beginning to get to this. However, I just wanted to let my mind start to flow at the beginning of this. I just want to come into it with no expectations. I think that's probably a lot of the problems in this world right now, as we do come into this with a lot of expectations. We start to gather expectations as we go along in life, which is how we want our life to be and how we want things to go and live. And when things don't add up to that, when things don't go like that, we start to become resentful, start to feel like a victim, and it can really mess with our reality creation. So, I really just want everybody to get back to getting more connected with their spirit. We gotta stop being so much outward forcing and pushing, and allow ourselves to kind of come back and engage and interact with our higher self, our spiritual self, because we are energetic vibrational beings at our core. So it's good for us to get back to that, how so that way we can actually create the reality that we was supposed to be living in this whole time. Our higher self and our spirit, which is the same thing. It already had a plan and a purpose for us, for our higher good when we came here. But when we fail to connect and interact and get to know our spirit and let our spirit actually come and evolve itself into our life, that's when we run into a lot of issues and a lot of problems. And it might be tough for us to kind of surrender control in that sense and kind of lean back into our bodies, because we feel like if we just kind of letting life happen to us, that we failing in a sense. We always need to be out here pushing forward and going. But I would invite you to get more in a sense of balance with your life. Balance is where God wants us to be. We be so much on extremes on either end. Either we doing too much or not doing enough at all. And what I found, because I've been on that spectrum, I literally just broke out of the cycle from that spectrum of or spectrum. Is that a word I can call it? It don't matter. It don't matter. But either I was doing too much or I wasn't doing enough. And I just, for me, for the longest, I thought that balance wasn't right for me. That balance was just such a tough thing. So I just thought, hey, I'm just more of an extreme person. But recently, I had a Kundalini awakening at the end of February. March 12th was my birthday. And what brought me to that Kundalini awakening, not only was it with kind of rewiring my nervous system to be less in a fight or flight state and feel more safe, but you just got to tell these things. You just got to tell yourself that you got to just demand those things out of yourself. You just got to tell yourself that you're safe. You gotta think about it. Actually think about it. The fact that you are safe. As we living in this concrete jungle, I guess we can say. And I'm just going, but I'm gonna let things flow. As we living in this concrete jungle, we tend to forget what it's really like to actually be in fight or flight, which is when you out and you really in survival mode, because you have to survive. And I think we surrounded by so many opportunities right now that a lot of the times we really not actually in survival mode. We not in a jungle having to fight off, snakes and build our shelter and worry about all those things. A lot of the things right now that we dealing with in society is easy. It's easy. So if we can bring ourselves back to that understanding and stay like you are safe, I know people got different circumstances in this world, in his life, where they do got to go out here and they got to fend for themselves. Most of us do got to come out here and we got to fend for ourselves. But if you're able to bring yourself back to an understanding that even with everything that you got to do to keep a roof over your head and keep food in your mouth, it's still just not compared to what real survival is like. So just reminding yourself that you're safe. If you're not getting attacked by nobody, if you're not in real danger, don't put your mind there. Use that for when it need to be used. And I'm not gonna say that in particular. What I was gonna say after that, I get to that as we get deeper in these talks. But I don't want to get too deep into this one. I just want to kind of keep it surface level, but still just touching on things that I feel are important to touch on. Oh my God, that's bitter. But it's good to have some bitters in the morning. It's good to keep things bitter sometimes. You don't have to have everything be sweet. And by the way, just stay away from sugar in general. Use honey to sweeten up things, or use maple syrup. Maple syrup is actually a much healthier source than just straight up white powder sugar or even stevia or anything that's like in a white powder form. Try to stay away from it. Obviously, you can do whatever you feel, but try to stay away from it. So back to balance, because that's what just popped back in my head. I was like, get back to the sense of balance. So God wants us to be more in balance with our life. Once you start entering more balance, And that's what's part of my Kundalini awakening is not only helping my nervous system feel more safe, but as I start to understand balance more, you don't have to push so much and you don't have to pull so much as well. You're supposed to be, mix up your days. Really, your routine matters a lot. Your 24 hours matters a lot because when you go to sleep, you know, you wake up and it's the next whatever you might have. We don't know what happens when we go to sleep. We know we had dreams and we wake back up, but things happen within your system and your body that kind of reset it. So really, when you wake up until the time you go to sleep, that's the time that you got to create your reality in that window of space, that 24, 16 hours, or however long you choose to sleep for. So putting even if you need to write it down in your phone or write it down on a notebook, start actually like routining your day out of how you want it to be and just include everything in it that you value. Make sure you're making time for God as well. I like to put the mornings as making time for God because when we wake up, we usually, especially as we rewiring our brains, we can do a lot of rewiring in a day and we can feel great. But it's not like once you rewire, like it's not once you be in a higher vibrated state that's where you're gonna be at now that's just how it is. No, it's not how it works. You got to continuously pull yourself back to this state. And by the way, when you in a higher vibration is when you actually connecting with your spirit, which is why it's important to put yourself in a higher vibration on a daily basis if you can. There's levels to all of this, but even just starting small, doing it once a week is enough if you don't do it at all. But definitely create your routines around how you want your life to actually look. Not about how I look right now, but how you really want it to look, and just try to live out that routine now, but make sure it's balanced. In the mornings, I would recommend in the mornings making time for God, whether that's you meditating, whether that's you going for a mindful walk or doing some yoga. I like to listen to, I like to do all of that, and as well as listen to Hertz music. I really want to expound on listening to frequency music and Hertz music. I think it's like the Sophie Geo, however you want to say it. Listen to different Hertz music for, I guess, whatever you feel called to listen to for that specific purpose. You got some that helps with your nervous system recalibration. You got some that helps with healing your heart. You got some that helps with just keep you more grounded with the root chakra. So I think that those are important. You got some that help you with letting go of fear and overthinking, which is a big part of you creating a more peaceful reality for yourself and the people around you. Because as you raise your frequency and your vibration, the people you come in contact with feel those effects as well. So as long as you're working on you, you basically helping the world. And that's what we need to understand right now, is that the real work is not going out here, getting a job, being so focused on our careers. And keep in mind, I'm a career person. Like, that's what I've been this whole time, what I've been kind of putting my worth or seeing my worth as is like, what can I actually create as far as career goes. And while that is important, the real work is the work we doing on ourselves, because we are vibrationally in tune with Earth. And when we tune our vibration the right way, that helps the planet. So it's important for us to switch the real work that we're supposed to be doing not from all of the outer stuff and output we doing, but the real work is what we doing on the inside in ourselves. Picking apart the illusions, getting out of a victim mentality, and really understanding that we create the reality around us no matter what was put in front of us. It's all about how you choose life to be rather than how life is for you. Now, that might be hard to do when, as you're doing that, you're going to feel good in a moment. Like, yes, I'm feeling energetically different on the inside. But then when you come back out, and you look at everything around you, is all still the same. You think like, well, why haven't the outside changed that? Well, you got to give it time. You got to give this time, honestly. And as you understand that should help you to just be more patient. Patience is a big thing with all of this as well. and God gonna test you through patience. All of this is a test. Getting out of the matrix and getting to a sense where you live in heaven and more peace is all a test for real. It's a test of, and it is up to you. Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna take control? Because God is there with His hands out whenever you're ready to do it. It's just up to you when you choose to do it or not. It's all up to you, honestly. But if you want to, I guess I'm here to help with the knowledge and the wisdom that God and my higher self has given me, and going through all of this process. And I still deal with it too. I'm not in a state right now where it's just everything is exactly how I wanted to be, and it's just completely heaven. But I have been in those states, and I know how it is to be in them. And I know that you will come back down if you're not giving time to work on your inner self and interact with your spirit and your higher self on a more daily or routinely basis. You need to be spending time with interacting and giving energy to your higher self, your spirit. You need to be in your higher self at least sometime throughout your day, which calls for you being in meditation, listening to her frequency, going for walks, yoga, doing some just mindfulness, peeling apart of your inner, and the things that you don't want to be there, like the thoughts that you think and ideas that you think, basically reprogramming your mind. All of these things is so important, and it's the real work. You got to put this above your job. You got to put this above your career. But coming back to balance now, since I got that out, and I'm pretty sure you understand that now. Coming back to balance, start your day off with that, because that's the real work, and spend as much time on that as you can. I know we ain't got enough time in the day. I wish God gave us more, but this is what we got. So we got to deal with what we got, So start off your day with connecting with your higher self and your spirit. Your spirit gonna thank you. Your reality gonna thank you as you connect with your spirit, because you think and operate on different levels when you do up your vibration and you connect with your spirit. So it's very important for you to get in that higher vibration at least once per day. You might be in it for maybe an hour or 2 hours, and then as you go about your day, you kind of come back down a little bit. That's okay. But as long as you was just in it for a certain period of time, it's going to start stacking up and stacking up. And you can always go back and listen to Hertz music and raise yourself back up to that vibration, in the middle of the day or later on in the day, as you please. But, start small with it. You ain't got to do the most. Balance, like I said, balance is key here. So start where you at. Start doing a bit of it. Do prayer, gratitude, all of those things. Raise your vibration. So start that. And your morning should be started off with that. Give your mornings to yourself. Even if you need to wake up earlier before you go into work. All right, wake up earlier so you can give time to yourself. You don't want to just wake up and just go because you're not in the right. When you wake up and you just go, you creating reality from more your animalistic side, which is going to be like, I got to force to work, and I got to force myself to go to work and do things in order to create reality for myself. And really, it's the easier way. But all you got to do is start connecting with your spirit and your higher self more. So next, in your balance is obviously you got to do some work. Usually we work 8 hours, right? 8 hours. Go do your 8 hours. Take care of that. And even if you ain't got a job and you just out here not doing nothing right now, find yourself something to do for at least 5, 6 to 8 hours, or 4 hours, between 4 hours and 8 hours. Find some type of work to do that's difficult, but it's getting something done. Figure it out. Find something that you can do. You need balance, so you can't just be doing, you can't just be sitting back all day and interacting with your spirit, or just bullshitting. By bullshitting, I don't mean interacting your spirit. By bullshitting, I mean just looking at entertainment and playing games, which is fine. Those things is fine, but it's all about balancing your day. So let me fully say what I'm saying as I'm going off into these tangents and explaining each individual thing. So start off your day with, some spiritual work, connecting with your higher self, raising your vibration. Very important. That is the real work. Above everything else you're going to do in the day, that is the real work. Mental reprogramming yourself, right? That all goes hand in hand with that. The thoughts that we think is on a habitual day-to-day basis. So stop letting yourself think thoughts and ideas that you really don't want to have. if you don't believe in yourself and those thoughts that come up to you of how much you don't believe in yourself, but you know that you really want to be believing in yourself, choose to start believing in yourself. Don't let your old programming dictate your life, because that's what it's going to keep doing as long as you let it, as long as you give your power away. You really have full power over your reality. But when you let things just happen to you, and it's like, oh, that's just the thoughts that I be thinking because I think, oh, I'm just a negative person about myself, or I don't think good about myself because that's how I've always been. All right, well, that's how you're going to always be then. That's a big victim mindset. And God don't operate from a victim mindset. God creates it. God creates. God is not a victim. And God put part of him in you, or him or it, whatever you want to call it, in you. So you have the choice to reject anything that you really don't want to agree with how you are, as far as internally. All right. I'm not saying be like what was his name, Clavicular or whatever his name is, where you doing all of these outside things to work on yourself or whatever. I mean, take care of yourself, self care too, but fuck all of that. All right, we talking about the inner work here. So don't be a victim. Do not be a victim of your life. Create your life. Reject the things. How can I say that? I'm still working on my vocabulary and just the way that I speak. And I know it's going to get better as I continue to do these talks and these videos. But just don't be a victim of your life. The things that's happening to you, they really happening for you, as long as you can transmute the energy into something positive for yourself and really create it. But it's going to take time. It's going to take you continuously doing this. But as long as it's important for you, which it should be important for you, because this is your life. So you choose. You have choice. Ultimately, God gave you choice. So you choose. Either you want to be a victim and keep living out the life that you want to live, and like, why is all of this happening to me? And I guess I'll never have it. I guess you won't then, because the universe will give you exactly what you thinking. So you thinking, oh, why this got to happen to me? And I wish something would just happen. That's not the right way to go about it. It's like, okay, no, I want this to happen to me, so this is what I'm a force to happen. You know what I mean? That's how you gotta really start to look at it. So I'm just going off on these tangents, but I'm gonna always come back around to it. So your routine, your daily routine matters so much. Balance. Start off your morning with some spiritual work, connecting with your inner self, reprogramming the mind. And you want to reprogram your mind throughout the day as well, by the way. That reprogramming your mind, don't stop. All right. Obviously, don't wreck yourself too much with this. Have patience with yourself. Have acceptance with yourself, where you at right now as well. Every part of you is beautiful in its own sense. So you got that. Number 2, do some work. All right. Do something that's challenging. Go out here and actually create. Go to work if you got to go to work. Do something that's challenging, but it's going to yield you some results in the back end. Even if it's just cleaning up something, cleaning your crib or whatever it is, do some work. And then number 3, last but not least, I kind of wanted to split this up, right? Because I feel like we all should be doing some form of creation in our day as well. So if you go to work and you just kind of got like, a warehouse job or something that's more, monotonous in this sense, you're not really creating, you just doing doing the work. When you get off work, I would encourage you to find a hobby or something to which you create, because when you create, you actually connecting with God, or you connecting with your higher self. So I would invite you to find something to create. Now, if you're already doing the work that you do is already more creative in a sense, when you get home, set some time aside for you to relax. At the end of your day should be towards relaxing, whether that's give yourself 2, 3, 4 hours or whatever to play your games, to look at some entertainment, or whatever brings you that relaxation and that joy in that sense from relaxing. You want to do, rather that's smoking, we're not going to bring that up right now, but if you want to engage in some extracurricular activities like that, which I don't, I'm not going to put my opinions on here too much, but I don't have nothing against plant medicine though, if you want to engage with that, but just do it in a healthy amount. But that's just with plant medicine. I don't agree with spirits and alcohol. I really don't. But, you can engage in that too if you so choose to. It's up to you. All this life is completely up to you and how you want to live it. I just want to point that out from everything that I'm saying. But if you are looking for something more, if you are looking for a different way to live and you feel like you've been operating from a more animalistic state, but it's more out here. It is more out here. So it's a lot more out here, and you got to open yourself up to it. And when you do, it's gonna be amazing. Um, so yeah, balance your day out. Have balance in the things that you do, because that's gonna help you to be more in a flow state rather than a forceful state. Um, we know a lot of people don't like their jobs, but it is what it is. You need that anyway. You need to be doing some form of work. Now, if you can get to a point where you can place that job that you don't like with a job that you do like, that's ready to go, right? So definitely work on that if you don't like the job that you do or with the work that you do for that 8 hours. But you need to have that time carved out for some kind of work. You hear me? So yeah, start off your morning with spirit. Get into your work. Do that for 8 hours. You got 8 hours kind of pretty much left for 7 or 6, however long. Spend some time creating if you need to within that 6 hour window frame that you got after work and everything else done. Spend at least an hour or two creating if you don't create in your normal day and your normal work basis. And then other than that, leave some time for relaxing and just being in your body and just relaxing. You know what I mean? And that's all you got to do. And it's all simple, but that's all you got to do, honestly. But just make sure you make sure you writing that down and you understand that, and you living out your time like that, and fill your day with all of the things that you love to do besides the work, obviously. All right, besides going to work and having to punch a time clock, I get that. But you can replace that eventually with everything that I'm talking about. You can replace that eventually as long as you keep pulling yourself back to that higher vibration, and listening to Hertz frequency. Keep your vibes high. You ain't gotta be super intensive with all of this, right? Like, oh, I'm feeling myself at a lower vibration. Like, bring yourself back to neutral. You don't always have to be, vibrating super high though, but you can bring yourself back to neutral if you feel yourself at a lower state. But even if you feel yourself at a lower state, like worry, fear, things like that, don't harp on it too much. Let yourself feel it if you're feeling it. But as you feeling it, bring yourself to awareness and understanding of what you're feeling, and understanding that those lower states you actually don't need to be in. A lot of them is illusions. Worrying, it's an illusion. You're really supposed to let God work. We're not supposed to be worrying about things, but we think that it helps when we do worry. But it does, we are supposed to be, putting things in a plan. We can't just let life completely happen to us, because things will fall apart around us. So definitely be meaningful with what you're doing and making sure that you're keeping things, together. And you knocking out things on your to-do list to keep your life in order. But other than that, worrying about things that we can't control. You're supposed to do your part and let God do his part, is what I'm gonna say about that. And and fear, fear is the biggest thing right now, especially on this planet. Fear is the biggest thing. And that's something that you got to continually just work through within yourself. But what I would say is that fear is all an illusion, though. It's all an illusion. I just realized all of this smoke is getting into the camera. It's actually adding for a little cool ambiance, though. Laugh more, though. Laugh more, have fun, enjoy. I think God put us here to enjoy life and play and have more fun. Tony Robbins has said something about how the happiest people in the world is the people that can squeeze every ounce of joy out of whatever thing that they doing. Just find some way to find the joy in it and squeeze that out of it, every ounce of it. It's a tough thing to do. All of this is not easy. I'm going to say that dealing with going back in the inner and raising your vibration and connecting more with your spirit, it might not be easy at first. Definitely is not as easy, but as you continue to do these things and reprogram your mind, it get easier, just like with everything else. And once it's easy for you, now you reality surfing. Now you just surfing on life for real. And it's one of those things that need to be earned. You know what I mean? So when you do it, it's a certain prestige that come along with it, because it's a lot of work you got to do. But that's why it's so worth it. And that's why it's so worth it. It's the path of God, So, at the end of the day, don't do as you please. Do as you want. But if you're looking to kind of go that route, I'm going that route too. So I guess this channel is, I know this channel is going to be for that. So that is what this channel is for. So keep coming back with me and connecting with me, because I'm going to bring you insights as I get them, and continue to talk about, I guess, the things that I've been through and what got me to a place of more peace and balance and understanding within myself. That's all this really is for, just documenting my mind, what I think about, things like that, honestly. I had some things that I wrote down here this morning as I was going through my meditations and my chakra cleanses. My chakra cleanses. But I think I touched on a lot of things for this first video that I think I did better than I would expect it, because I just kind of came on here and let things flow. And yeah. So yeah, I think I touched on a lot of great things for this first one. So I'm gonna leave it at that. It's been 30 minutes. 30 minutes of y'all time taken away. If you stay for the whole thing, I appreciate it though. And that let me know that you're really ready to start doing this, or you have been doing it and you really see the value in it. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So we're going to keep creating our own reality. We're going to keep rejecting what was offered to us, and we're going to keep going towards what it is that we truly see for ourselves and what we know we can be. And that's the goal here. So more power to you. I hope you stay safe out there. Live in love, not fear, and find joy. Find things to be, be playful and enjoy your life. No matter people that's gonna look at you like, hey, why they enjoying their life so much? Man, this is your God-given right. This is why you was put here. This is why you was put here. Life is not something to be taken for granted. It's special, and you are powerful. The fact that you're able to have a life shows how powerful you actually are. Because this is an interesting thing. Life is a very interesting thing to try to actually come here and experience. And I want to help you experience it to the point, to the level that your spirit wants you to be on. But we gotta work through all of these illusions and peel back the onion. If you so-called, ready to go on that journey, because not everybody is, and that's fine. Start where you at. So, anyways, appreciate you, love you. Keep loving your heart. Be safe out there, and let's do it. Let's do the work.